We are absolutely going to look at this Bitcoin move on the short term. This is a 4-hour chart. I want to break down the move that's going on right now, but more importantly, I want to kind of talk about why the current bull run that we've been in over the course of like 4 months, why I think it is extremely in play for this to continue. We have some extremely solid data, and I want to start this video by, I think, showing you this piece of data in terms of market cycles that is probably the most important piece of data that you will see today in terms of Bitcoin and what's next for markets in general. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's start before we dig into this short-term Bitcoin chart and talk about the move. Let's start with this extremely quick clip from January 2023. Investors may be surprised to learn that in the last 69 years on average, stocks did worse in the year before a recession began than during the recession itself. So 2023 being the recession. You're going to start seeing all of these headlines. 2023, recession is here probably. So here's a headline from 2 days ago. That was in January. Fed economists project recession this year. So we were discussing in January, markets perform worse the year before the recession, meaning 2022. Meaning if we go to a Bitcoin chart, performing worse the year before the recession, right? So 2023 is the year of the recession. Well, this is playing out really nicely. Remember, I did this video back here in January, and markets have been up so far in this year of this recession. Now, what's so insanely cool to me is the impeccable timing of it all in terms of Bitcoin. So this is all playing out, that data of market cycle shifts and recessions coming into the story and into the mix. That's all playing out while Bitcoin is right in between these halvings. Bitcoin is just so on pace in terms of the exact timing of previous bear market lows. So the timing of it is incredible just to watch this play out. And then we do have headlines that are also signaling that there's going to be maybe this slow bullish shift, right? Even amidst this 2023 tough year, and maybe in sight for global rate hike cycle as Fed nears peak. So headlines might even come into play to assist in the continued move for Bitcoin, or at the very least, the repetitive, consistent move out of previous bear cycles. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. And then in a couple minutes, we're going to look at this current move for Bitcoin. This red candle on the 4-hour, I want to talk about the importance of it and what is next on the short term. So let's do this, and let's really quick start with the monthly chart on Bitcoin. This is it. I just want to point out a couple things. We've talked about the similarities. It's evident just by glancing at the chart, but two pieces of data to look at. Number one is the stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator. Here we are. There's a lot of room to the upside, and this is a quicker moving indicator on this monthly chart, meaning this shorter term rally, and I guess we can call it a midterm rally that we've had over the last 3-4 months, could play out continued on this momentum oscillator. And if we look at the comparison of this move back in 2019 and also coming out of the bear market in 2015 into 2016, if we look at that, check it out. Bitcoin approaching a very similar area. So if Bitcoin delivers in that momentum sequence to the upside, it would be looking like this, breaking the 20-month moving average. You see we're approaching the 20-month moving average, and then similar to even just back here in 2015, breaking the 20-month moving average. So we're approaching that area. There is the room to the upside to break this area. And what's compelling about it, besides just the stock RSI and the 20-month moving average, is just the very fact that when we start zooming in on the charts and we're starting to really track the shorter term moves, which we're about to look at, right here, 40,000 is the target on the shorter midterm charts, the structure of Bitcoin that's happening right now. There's a $40,000 target to the upside. It's not guaranteed it's going to happen. Bitcoin could fail at the 20-month, right? Bitcoin might just start falling now. I don't know. And just this is why we track it all the time. We anticipate retracements and we analyze support, which we're about to look at. But if it were to continue to its target, 40,000, it would be Bitcoin playing out almost identically to previous cycles above the 20-month and then the consolidation, right? Above the 20-month and also the stock RSI hitting that overbought territory before consolidation. That's the monthly. That's the zoomed out. And I really think it all ties in to this story that we've been tracking for a while now. And I just showed you that clip from January. It's the very fact that investors may be surprised to learn that in the last 69 years, On average, stocks did worse in the year before a recession began than during the recession itself. So let's dig into the short term. This is what we're looking at. It would be great, as always, to see just like this quick little dip for Bitcoin on the very short term and just keeps going, right? We always want to just see Bitcoin keep going. But I do want to just discuss, if it's not going to keep going, what's going on right now. First things first, we've been tracking the shorter term consolidation for Bitcoin, and it's pretty much over. We've hit the target of, remember, $31,000 to $32,000 was the target. We pretty much hit that 31 exactly, and it's no surprise to me it's time for Bitcoin to cool off now on the shorter term. What does that look like? Well, we can zoom out on, let's go over to the daily chart and kind of get a better gauge what this looks like. There's our consolidation that we just tracked, breakout target to 31,000 in play. It's actually nice to see consolidation, a break for Bitcoin. What we look for is consolidation, throwbacks, right? A 20-day moving average support, 28,600. We have the upper trend line. Of course, we look for a throwback to that area. Remember, this is a large pattern with a $40,000 target to the upside. This is that $40,000 target that we just looked at on the monthly chart. So huge target to the upside for Bitcoin. So if it's going to get this kind of separation from the upper trend line, it makes sense when it starts getting overbought on the shorter term, it pulls back, it throwbacks, or it even just trades sideways into it, makes us wait again. These are the things we want to analyze. The 20-day moving average just above that trend line, and then the 50-day moving average is what I'm really keeping an eye on. It's just below $26,000. If we zoom in, my curiosity is, how does it pull into Bitcoin? Or how does Bitcoin pull into the 50-day? Remember, in bullish environments on the daily, we're always just looking at those two points, the 50 in blue, the 20 in green, because in these bullish environments, oftentimes is the case, and actually here's the move in 2019, you can even get a sense, we're either seeing support at the 20-day, or we're kind of falling just above the 50 or touching the 50, and that's the support area we want to see higher highs and higher lows for Bitcoin. It's identical right now. Anytime there's any separation from those moving average, we want to see consolidation. And if we look at the 4-hour, it just makes sense, right? So, of course, on the 4-hour, and we can see how this move plays out today. We have this low right now. Are we going to see another swing low? Are we going to actually just see Bitcoin just create a new very short-term channel and just maybe break out of that one, right? Give us a continued move to the upside. But if not, what's going on here on the chart on the 4-hour that suggests that throwback that we just talked about to moving averages is in play? Very simple. It's bearish divergence, meaning we have a higher high on price chart from this swing high. So we have the higher high. You can see this right there. And then we have on the momentum oscillator, we have a lower high. So the high back here. So Bitcoin's losing momentum. It's bearish divergence. And it's something similar we saw back here in the last consolidation. Bearish divergence for Bitcoin. And then what happens? It just falls. It consolidates to key areas. And then at that point, we're able to evaluate, all right, what's up with support? Is there bullish confirmations of support? Is Bitcoin, interacting with those support areas in a way in which it does consistently in bull environments? At the end of the day, there's no guarantees that support does hold, but that's why we wait for them to be revisited. And in the process, I think in the short term, this is why I do the charts and I do these videos, is because when I'm watching the moves to the short term, I'm not looking at, this red candle and thinking, oh man, it's over. The whole multi-month bull run that we just had is over. I'm looking at it like, okay, it's taking a break. It needs to. This is what happens all of the time in any market, bull or bear. So this is what I'll be watching in the short term. But I think really importantly, zooming out on the charts and remembering this story that we really were talking about back in January, markets bottoming out before the recession, I think is so key to remember that, especially amidst this new landscape that we're in. Banks literally just falling, collapsing, and Bitcoin going up. Bitcoin has a different narrative this cycle, and this is what's setting up Bitcoin. This could potentially be, and I'm not saying the bull market is starting just yet. That's what makes this even more powerful. But when the next cycle, bull cycle, does start, this could be one of the most powerful bull cycles we've ever seen. And that's what I'm really curious to see. So the volatility along the way, we have to track it little by little. I mean, even on the monthly, Bitcoin could just fail all support we just talked about and just start falling. What if we're back at $20,000? Remember, for me, this is a higher low area for Bitcoin from this bear market low. back in November. So that's what I'm tracking, everybody, in the short term. Let's see what Bitcoin does. It'd be great to see continuation, but we'll keep an eye on it. Hit the subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.